Glamour.
Grit. Glamour.
Grit. Glamour. Grit.
Can we all just take a minute to appreciate the fact that we've gotten a lot smarter lately about where we get our health advice from? I have my village of people I talk to, but I still like to search for things online, and that's where the informational glow-up happened. I've learned my lesson, and I'm no longer going to random websites with lists of symptoms where I scare myself into thinking I've some sort of horrible disease. I know we all do it, but being in North Texas, I'm turning to places like the blog site, areyoawellbeing.org. It's a health and wellness blog from the Texas Health that talks about everything from health benefits of pickleball to signs of cancer. And they also have free online assessments that you can learn from your own personal risks like heart disease, stroke, diabetes, and breast cancer. This blog is just a great resource for information that updates us with new content all the time and covers a wide spectrum of health-related topics. Check it out from Texas Health at areyoawellbeing.org. Hello. Welcome back to the Glamour and Grit, baby. It is Monday, and you know what Monday is? It is Celebrity Monday! do.
I feel like you just kind of went through like 5 different character voices in like 3 seconds.
Well, this is my audition for voiceovers. I'm trying to get jobs after this.
If you didn't know what she does full time, now you do.
Yeah. Look at me up on IMDb.
Right. Welcome, guys. Welcome back. Today, I'm super excited for our guest. First, because he is a great friend of mine. We just did a movie together for a month, a really cool Western, which I'm excited to talk about as well. But I think I can go down on paper by saying that this guest has accomplished more than any other guest will have on this season. I mean,
that's a little haterade to our other guests, but
no, I don't.
It's true, though. It's true.
Everybody we have is extremely successful, and we're honored to have them. But this man specifically has had success in so many different industries.
No, he's insane. It's insane.
There's a lot of hats being worn here. Am I right?
I mean, the guy might as well be a doctor. He needs like a PhD in like
That's the only thing he's missing, to be honest. But he's here, so let's bring him in. My really good friend, Jonathan Sadowski. Hey, brother, how you doing, man?
What's up, guys?
Hi, doll.
Good to see you, bro.
Dude, I've been on for 30 seconds and I'm already blushing.
You're about to blush more.
Oh my God, this is the worst part that he's making you do this.
So I want to read his bio for all the listeners. A lot of them will already know who he is just by hearing his name, but let me just bring them up to speed on everything this guy has done.
I feel like all of my best friends are literally dying that his face is on our screen right now because I think everybody and their dog had a crush on you. Like, I remember when Eric got the movie with you and I was like, Jonathan is in your movie?
We couldn't go anywhere without a big stop.
So all like the fans, all the girls are dying right now.
Yeah, I've got like the gritty Western guys coming up to me, and then like every girl in town up to Jonathan. It was fantastic.
I'll take it. I love that.
Okay, here we go. So here's a little snippet of what this man's done, and I like to read it in front of the guest and the actor, so they're reminded of how great they are. We all work in insane industries, and I just think it's important for you to hear it again because you've accomplished so much, and this is incredible. Jonathan Sadowski, hailing from Chicago's South Side, Jonathan received his BFA in theater from the University of Illinois. After moving to Los Angeles in 2002, he quickly began booking roles in TV and film, including NCIS, House, which I love, Hugh Laurie. God, that was one of my favorites. American Dreams, She's the Man, Live Free or Die Hard, and Friday the 13th. Dude, I mean, come on. Jonathan starred opposite William Shatner in the CBS hit sitcom Shit My Dad Says, which was hilarious, by the way. He also starred as Josh Kaminsky in 5 seasons of Freeform's hit comedy Young and Hungry, saying he's one of her favorite comedies of all time. Can't wait to talk about that. And while he was on Young and Hungry, Jonathan became a Chopped champion when he competed and won the comedic actor category in the Chopped Star Power Tournament, where he competed on behalf of the Children's Tumor Foundation. His on-screen presence and culinary expertise landed him his own special on Food Network called Grubsessed. I'm obsessed with that. Jonathan has sold numerous screenplays and has been named on the Blacklist, which is the best screenplays in Hollywood, for his writing. He has had writing deals at both MTV and Paramount. Shout out to those networks, by the way. They did 1883. Most recently, Jonathan could be seen as Devin on Netflix's hit show Sex Life.
I think I'm young and hungry for some sex life.
That is such a steamy show. I can't wait to get in on that. Jonathan is a partner in a production company with his longtime manager, Daniel Pancotto, hope I said that right, called Ad Lunam Entertainment. His first film as a producer, no big deal. First film as a producer was the PGA Award nominated 8-Bit Christmas for HBO Max and New Line, which I'm pretty sure Neil Patrick Harris was in that bad boy. God, I love that man. And Jonathan is an avid whiskey collector and a close-up magician. Dude.
Holy shit.
I mean, come on. You don't like to sit still, do you? Ever.
What's that?
You don't like to sit still, do you?
I have ADD.
I mean, you truly wear more hats than anyone we're going to have on this season, which is incredible. I mean, actor, producer, writer, celebrity chef, magician. It's unreal, man. It's unreal. I'm so curious, just out the gate, how a boy from Illinois who goes to college for theater, which
I found out was crazy that you didn't even start in theater, did you?
No, I was a finance major.
That's insane.
So how does that boy who have dreams of being in finance, who transfers to theater, become an LA superstar actor, chef, magician, writer, producer, doctor, ballerina?
There's only one ballerina on this podcast, and it's not. So I grew up in the south side of Chicago, and I did not come from a family that had a whole lot of means. We had enough to get by, and that was about it. And when I was growing up in that situation, the one thing you want is money. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to be an investment banker. I'm going to have all the money in the world. I'm going to, never have to worry about this again. And I was like in the stock market club in high school and all this crazy stuff. So I wound up getting into the University of Illinois finance school, which was #1 in the country at the time. And I was like, this is it. I'm great. I'm set. And like sophomore year, I was like suffering through like severe depression, like couldn't get out of bed depression. I was failing out. I wouldn't go to class. I despised everything about business. So, or the business school, I should say. I was like, I think I'm going to be an actor. I've always wanted to do it. I was part of the fine arts club in high school. I loved seeing shows. I remember my first musical I saw was Phantom of the Opera at the Auditorium Theater in Chicago. And I was like, people can earn a living doing this. And it like blew my mind. So I was talking to my mentor, who is actually a musician and a magician. And he was like, Jonathan, he's like, you are an artist. He's like, do you want to be an artist behind the desk with? That really, really, really resonated with me.
Oh,
so
wait, pause for 1 second. So it cut out right after you said, he looked at you and said, Jonathan, do you want to be an artist or? And then
he said, okay. He looked at me and he said, Jonathan, you're an artist. Do you want to be an artist at a desk with a calculator, or do you want to be an artist on stage? Wow. And I was like, that's it. I'm out. And I went to the head of the business college and I said, look, I don't want to be here. It's not what I want to do. I said, I want to transfer into the theater school. And my first audition ever was for the acting conservatory at University of Illinois. I got in. I told my mom I'm going to be an actor. My mom called me an idiot. And she said, you should have done this from the get-go.
Oh, my gosh, the twist.
Yeah. And like halfway through my acting tenure at the University of Illinois, Uh, they cut me. They said I wasn't good enough so you have to audition to get in, and then you have to audition to stay in.
Oh gosh.
And get into what's called the Professional School of Acting.
Wait.
And I was one of 2 people they cut.
So you're good enough to get in, but you have to be continuously good enough to stay in.
Yeah, and I wasn't. They cut me.
Is that normal? You went to theater school. Was that what you guys had to do?
Some schools are like that. It's so crazy.
What?
It's like they want you to learn, but they don't want you to learn like bad. So they like cut you. Yeah, it's insane.
Boots, built for the Western lifestyle by cowboys and cowgirls who live it every day. Their exceptional quality and unmatched attention to detail come from the heart of years of experience. You'll hear people say they don't build them like they used to. Well, the Rios family of brands does. With an unwavering commitment to doing the right things the right way, the company's dedication to family, quality craftsmanship, and the preservation of a history worth sharing is as strong as ever. Find your perfect pair today at any of their retail partners. For a full list of where to shop or to learn more about the Rios family of brands, visit riosfamilyofbrands.com. Step into the proud heritage of the Rios family of brands, a testament to the heart and soul of the American West.
So I think there were like 35 people in my class, and they were all younger because I transferred in. So I was like a year older than everybody. And I was like one of 2 or 3 people that got cut. And I remember you had to meet with your professors after the studio audition. And there was this one chick who I despise. I despise her. And I'm not even going to give her the courtesy of saying her name.
Oh, no.
And I met with her, and she said, I said, look, I want to go to LA. I want to be an actor. I'm just looking for guidance here. And she said, direct quote, I don't know what to tell you. Your looks will only get you so far. And I said, this meeting's over. I got up and I walked out. I went across the hall to the Dean of Performance Studies, which is like design, playwriting, directing, all that stuff. And I knocked on his door, and his name is James Zager, who I still keep in touch with today. Shout out to my boy, James. And I said, James, you don't know me. I said, my name's Jonathan Sadowski. I was an actor. I didn't make it in the studio. I just want to move to LA, but my mom won't let me leave without a diploma. How quick can you get me out of here? And he said, that is the most honest thing I've ever heard. He goes, let's get you a diploma. And wow. I wound up changing my focus into directing and playwriting. So I got my BFA in theater with a focus in directing and playwriting, and graduated, worked a month of construction in the Chicago winter. I graduated in December because I was late. And I worked for 3 weeks in Chicago at my buddy's buildings, like doing handyman work and construction and stuff. And I bought a one-way plane ticket. And January 24th, 2002, I flew to Los Angeles with a duffel bag and $300.
Oh my God, this is like those stories you
God.
don't think actually exist, but they do, and you're that. Wow.
Was that crazy though, going from like a young man with depression in the finance office and then having this epiphany to be an actor and then being told like no? Like, was that like a shot to the ego, or did you just know inside that that was something you were meant to do, that was your sign?
No, I mean, I'm pretty thick-skinned, and I motivate pretty easily. So when I hear no, it's just like, it's going to be a yes, you know?
Totally.
And it's like, with your help or without your help, like if I have my mind set on something, yeah.
We can tell by your resume.
So okay. So you get there, you've got a duffel bag, you got off the plane, you have no idea how this is all going to work out, but you're determined to make it happen.
Yeah.
How does that lead you into becoming, a star, and then into writing and producing and magicianry, and if that's even a word, magicianry, and celebrity chef? Like, how does it all snowball from there? Like Cliff Notes.
So, in the theater school, you have to do an internship before you graduate. Everybody does. And I petitioned to do an internship in film instead of theater. So I sent my resume to a bunch of places, and I got interviewed in LA by a couple production companies. And I wound up being hired as an intern for Linda Obst Productions at Paramount. I mean, she's done everything from The Fisher King to Abandoned to, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, like Contact. She's done everything. She's a massive producer. So I interned for her for a summer and kind of got the lay of the land. I was staying on my buddy's futon, Gabe Cohen, who actually now, he was a University of Illinois theater guy. And Gabe is now Margot Robbie's manager. And
Oh my gosh.
he's a partner at Management 360.
Whoa.
Management 360.
I charge anything. And then when I moved back to LA, him and his roommate at the time just got a bigger place, and they had an extra bedroom, and they had that same futon. So I just paid rent there, and I stayed in a little tiny den that I made my bedroom, and just crashed on his couch for a while until I got a job and was able to get my own place.
And I was listening to an interview that you said you were bartending and your manager gave you an ultimatum. It was like, you need to quit this bartending job.
Well, she said you have 30 days. Yeah.
Wow. And what happened in those 30 days?
She was my first manager. She was great.
Uh-oh.
We lost you, Bella.
We froze. Can you?
And I was bartending at this place.
Wait, sorry. Can you hear us?
She's like,
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I saw it pop up on my screen too.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So sorry, love.
So we asked, what happened in those 30 days?
Yes, so sorry. We lost you on what happened in those 30 days.
Yep.
I'm sorry, love.
So she said, I was bartending and my manager came in one night and she said, you gotta quit this stuff. You have 30 days. We're setting a time limit, 30 days. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And literally on day 30, I booked the lead of my first pilot for Fox. And then that week I booked She's the Man.
Iconic.
And then
Which I can't wait to talk to you about Amanda Bynes, by the way. Side note, but go ahead.
So I booked this the lead of the show for Fox. And then later that week I booked She's the Man. And then the next week I sold my first screenplay to Sony.
Jesus.
And it was yeah.
So
and I was
you're I'm selling that fucking futon. We are out of here.
Unreal. For those of you who aren't in the entertainment industry, what he just described happened in those 30 days takes most people a decade in the industry to even scratch the surface of. So it's blowing my mind that happened so quickly in such a short amount of time, considering.
Yeah, well, that wasn't my first 30. I mean, I had been in LA for a few years at this point. But I was doing guest star roles and co-star roles. And my first recurring role I booked was on a show called American Dreams with Brittany Snow and Will Estes, Tom Verica, who's now directing all the Bridgerton stuff. And I was bartending at two spots. I had a day job. I was a waiter in the day, and then I was bartending at night. And the shows would air on Sunday nights, and I bartended Sunday nights in downtown LA. And my manager and agent at the time would come to my bar, and I was literally behind the bar watching the show that I was on. We'd all watch.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane.
No, I'll never forget Eric after winning the Emmy Award. I'm sorry I'm calling you out, but he drove Uber the next day. And I was this is the definition of being an actor. It's exactly what you described. There I am on screen, I'm bartending. There I am winning an Emmy, I am Ubering. That is the life of an actor right there.
It's the successful ones, because you have to hustle and you have to make it happen for yourself, and by any means necessary.
And this, I've been a working actor now for almost 20 years, and I still wonder where my next check is going to come from.
Mm-hmm.
People think that actors have this disposable income, and when you're on a show, it's great. But very few people get to that point where you're making the 7-figure paydays on a movie and stuff like that. And for the I don't want to tell you get too much into detail, but even I was on a show that was a massive, massive show. And it was like, I was like struggling to pay rent, like my bills, you know, like my mortgage. It was like, people just think like, you know, there's automatic, it's just like automatic gazillionaire status. And it's like, it's not the way it works, you know? It's not the way it works.
And I think people like equivalate with you being known as being like, even what I've seen with you, it's like people expect you to have all this gajillions of dollars after you're on a hit show. And I think Sydney Sweeney just got like a lot of slack because she said she couldn't afford to take off 3 months. And it's like, you can't. Like that is a part of like your hustle. You got to work constantly. And when you're not working, you're doing the real work by auditions and classes and the hustle of it all. I mean, it's so true. I have to talk really quick though about She's the Man. It is legendary. It is iconic. It is. Isn't Channing Tatum?
Channing Tatum, that's him. Okay.
Yes.
Yep. Channing
It
Tatum.
is like the
Amanda
most
Bynes.
everybody, and I am the biggest fan of Amanda Bynes. I think we all go through some hard times, and Sister's gone through some hard times.
Well, we're in a slump right now. Like I feel so bad for this girl. Like, you know, clearly she's really struggling with some mental challenges. And as did you experience what Amanda did you get on set? What was your experience?
Uh-oh, we lost you, love bug.
So when we were shooting She's the Man, I mean, she's 19. And I'm pretty sure she was just named on like the Forbes top 100 most powerful celebrities in Hollywood.
Gosh.
As a 19-year-old. And she was great. She was, you know, just like this bubbly, you know, little girl. And it just kind of, the whole topic of mental health and her in particular, you know, kind of blindsided the whole cast. Like, you know, there were a few of us that still kept in touch. And everyone was just like, whoa. And our director, same thing. Like he was super close to her and her family and stuff like that. So yeah, you know, she's going through it, but I'm hoping she's gonna pull out, you know, safe on the other side.
Amen. And she's like one of the most brilliant comedic actors of our time. So, and we need to talk about this though. Speaking of comedic actors, because I have got to ask you about this. I was on set with you. And I have never in my life watched someone, I just think because I live with like a method actor, like whatever we are playing, I have to live with that at home. And then Jonathan walks in the door and I finally I'm like, Eric, why can't you be like that? So when Jonathan, we're in like the most intense movie you can imagine. And Eric and Jonathan are playing these like really rugged, dark characters. And then when they say cut, Jonathan is back. Eric is still in grunge, but Jonathan is happy and singing and dancing and like
he's literally playing the piano. Like what was he playing?
Piano Man.
Sing
us a song. I mean,
he's
all
got
of
the
us.
entire crew and cast laughing and singing. And
then there's Eric, like in the corner, like being like singing his lines. And I'm like, well, how did I end up with this? Like I am Jonathan, and I want to know how you were able to do that, because that is something, it's so rare to watch an actor be able to turn it off and on that fast. And I will say, and to do it successfully, you are unfreaking believable. And the way they literally say action or, you know, go, whatever they're saying at the time. And it's rolling. And then it's like, boom, you're there. Is there something that you tap into every time? Is there a place that you go? Like, how are you able to turn it on and off like that? Because it really is, if most people don't know at home, that is so rare to be able to do.
So I have like severe ADHD, and my brain moves like a frickin' hummingbird. And it's, so for me to be writing and then go to play a video game and then read and then take a phone call, like that's normal for me. Like doing one thing for a split second and then like immediately changing gears and going to the next thing, you know? So I think there's certain times where, you know, I kind of have to stay in the moment. Like if it's a super emotional scene and I'm like, I need to cry on set or something like that, I kind of stay in that headspace. But other stuff, I think that like, you know, one of the big scenes like that Eric and I did, that was the audition scene too. So that was like, second nature to me. Like I had done that so many times already. So I needed to get away and like kind of get that out of my head, so I didn't come off as over prepared and mechanical. So that's like, if I run something over and over and over and over again, first off, my personality and the way my head works, I get bored and I'm uninterested, and that comes across. So, and that's very similar to the way I like teach acting is, I think the first time you read something is probably going to be the most natural. And then you don't want to drift too far from that. You kind of hone, choose your moments and hone what you like, that lump that you already have out there. So, once we say rolling, I'm in it because I've been there so many times. The minute they say cut, I have to get it out of my head. Otherwise, I'm gonna I'll dwell on it, and it's a nasty rabbit hole I go down. So for me, I found the way that works is not staying in the scene, unless it's a super emotional thing.
Totally.
Yeah.
See, it's so funny because
I like to be prepared, and it's like I'm prepared. Like I'm off book when I'm on set. I'll run the lines with people on set. Yeah, I don't know. It's like a light switch, man. It's like the minute
it really is.
it makes sense though, because us personality types, I'm the exact opposite. If I'm doing two things at once, I feel like I have no idea what I'm doing. Like I have to focus on one thing at a time. I need to take it slow. I need to think things through. And I think therefore when I'm on set, I have to stay in this zone and in this moment and in this kind of emotion to a degree. So I don't feel like I've gotten distracted and I'm not able to get back there, because it is so easy for me to feel like I'm off track. Whereas, like you said, you are used to doing a million things at once, and so that makes sense. But
I just feel like it's so much healthier. Not that your way is not right or wrong, but it has to be something. I've watched you in shows and series, and it's like Eric is kind of lost for a little bit. And I love that you are able to turn it on and off when you can, because I think as an actor, we watched it happen with a lot of actors, is if you stay in it too long, you can get lost in that character. And really,
I think for me, because I feel like, Jonathan, you have a mentality of a lot of my friends who do Broadway and theater, because you go do 8 shows a week, and the minute you're off that stage, they shut it off, they go back to their life, and the minute they're on stage, they're in the zone and they can snap in and out. And I used to be that way because I did theater and Broadway back in New York, but I haven't been there in that zone for so many years that I think, you get wrapped up in new ways of tackling projects, and that's just kind of where I am right now. And who's to say that, I feel like we're always changing in this industry, the way we approach anything, because each, as we grow and mature and whatever else life, throws at us, it changes the way we approach a script. So that I might end up back there again one day. But I do think our personalities are so different, which is why I think we are such great friends, because it's really yin and yang.
I need to talk about, though, like speaking about theater and things like that, I knew you obviously as like a multicam guy. It is like watching you in Young and Hungry. If people at home don't know, there's 2 different types, single cam and multicam. Multicam is usually like live audience, comedy, different cameras, where single cam is
like Friends. Friends was a multicam,
Totally. And I watched you on Young and Hungry, and how are you able to go back and forth? Because very few actors can do that. Once again, successful. You're amazing. How many times can I say successfully?
But how did you convince? Because one of my big things too, before you answer, was doing intense dramas, and networks and casting directors and everybody was like, that's what he does. So I couldn't get even seen for these cool comedies and these shows that I watch and love, but wasn't able to read for because they knew me as this thing. Whereas you're known for so many things, and that is such a hard nut to crack.
How'd you crack that nut?
Please tell me.
So, first off, I think, Sainty, you kind of took the words from my mouth. My idea of like a brilliant actor is someone who can bounce freely between comedy and drama. And in my mind, like Robin Williams took the cake, like just watching that guy go from, serious roles like Good Will Hunting to, Mork and Mindy and all that stuff. Like that's kind of who I wanted to model my career after. It's like I want to do it all, you know. However, it was really hard for me to get in the room for a drama because I had done so many comedies. I mean, Shit My Dad Says was the first, my first pilot to go to series. And I think that was like my 9th comedy pilot. And it was the first one to go to series.
Wow.
So I had been doing comedy and like everyone knew me as this comedy guy. So I had to like really work, like, you know, to get in the room for dramas and stuff like that. And then I you know, did some horror films. And, you know, I did a couple like spots for like drama and stuff like that on television, like, you know, for hour longs. But I had to like work. Like I was like pre-reading for fucking dramas. Oops, sorry, I don't know if I can swear on there.
No, you can.
I've sworn a few times. Sorry.
That's the gritty part of the glamour and grit.
Yeah, my mom and dad are dying right now. That's how many times I've cussed.
But yeah, like I was telling my agent, I was like, I was, you know, like working. Like I was like, I'll pre-read. I'll just get me in the door, you know? And it's tough because I think, you know, in this business, people like to put you in a box. You know, he's the drama guy, he's the comedy guy. And it makes their job easier because they know the people that can do comedy, if they're casting a comedy, they already have a great pool of actors to pull from. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But man, there are a ton of actors out there who can do both, you know? There are, and it's just it's a matter of getting your foot in the door and showing them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's like what, you know, when I part of the reason why I started posting a lot of my old self audition tapes on my Instagram account is because it's almost like, you know, look, if you're a musician, like what better way to get your music out there than to make reels about you singing and stuff like that, you playing. And instead of me using stuff that I've booked, you know, that people know about, I'm going to show people what I can do that you may not have seen before, you know? And so basically I'm like compiling my own cool little demo reel on my social media now, just of I was like, oh shit, I didn't know he can play that guy. You know what I'm, so.
I love that you're doing that, by the way, and your Lex Luthor, that was unreal.
So good.
And I've thought about that at different times. Is there anything in your mind where you're concerned? Do the networks, do shows, do they care if you put that up knowing that the script is, you know, I mean, it's already been aired, right? Or
and the stuff that I put out, like, you know, the one on my first one that I posted was I was up for this
the South African one. Oh,
yeah,
dude.
So I posted that one, but I mean, look, the role's cast. Like, no one really is going to know the storylines anyway, so it's like whatever. And then the other stuff I'm posting is like shit that's already been shot, and it was like years ago, and so
no one's going to come for us.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Maybe
Watch tonight. Eric's gonna post on his social media. He's gonna post up.
If they come for me, at least that means I'm getting noticed. You know.
Yeah. No.
Amen to that. That's what I always say. No, I need to talk about Young and Hungry because I was psycho obsessed with that show. I think I was up for Emily's like doppelganger in a series. I didn't get it, obviously, but I literally probably just wanted to work with you. You're amazing. But what was that like being on a show for 5 seasons? Like playing the same character with the same people under that umbrella of a network? Because was it ABC Family at the time, or was it Free?
High on the hill. I was high on the hill.
That boy.
Times were good. It was great, man. It was great. And, you know, Tom Hanks recently did this. I saw a clip of him recently online where it's all those actors kind of sitting around at a round table. And he said the most important words he's learned were, "This too shall pass." If you're down and out, this too shall pass. You think your career is going really well, this too shall pass. And Young and Hungry was wonderful, man. I still talk with the cast, and the show is incredibly beloved. You know, like
so
people all over the world, and I mean all over the world. I was in Croatia once, and people were flipping out that I was in this bar.
No, I can't even.
Of course, I was in a bar in Croatia.
No, we love a good bar. No, but was it so? Because that was the time, kind of, they were changing the game. It was, I think, Pretty Little Liars, the teenager that was pregnant. I mean, it was really edgy stuff for ABC Family, because you think ABC Family, you think kid shows, and it really kind of followed. It was, especially I'm 34, following my generation. It was kind of hitting where we all were at that time. And it was
Absolutely.
so, I mean, we've seen obviously a lot of your cast members and Pretty Little Liars girls, what they've done with their careers. They really dove into these amazing actors and stories. And it really was like our version of Friends. I mean, that really, ABC Family, I considered that was my prime time. Like, that's what I watched every single day. I mean, it was so legendary. And y'all were the first of those type of celebrities for our age. Because it's like, and no, it's so true. It's like everybody that it was my age watched those shows. I mean, I still, to this day, he makes fun of me. I still pull up like Ashley Benson's haircuts just from Pretty Little Liars, because it was so, I loved those shows. So it was so amazing. Was it hard for you to like go from, everyone knew you from She's a Man and different series, but then go from like a household name where it's like, where you want to go where everybody knows your name? And you literally became a star, not overnight, but overnight.
It was great, but reality will get you, man. Once Young and Hungry ended, I didn't work for almost 2 years.
Wow.
Like literally, I couldn't book a job to save my life.
And that's such a thing with people who are on long-running TV series.
It was like, it was ridiculous. Like,
were you getting called in and meeting with networks and producers and just not going your way? Or was it they didn't even want to see you because they just thought you were young and hungry?
It was, no, man. I'm talking.
Oh, wait, go back for
I
one.
didn't get a test offer. I didn't.
Sorry, cut out for 1 second. So I just asked you the question. And
That's okay. Ask me a question again.
yeah. So was it? I mean, were you getting in the rooms and meeting with networks and testing still, or was it just they didn't even want to see you?
Like, so it was crazy because like I remember after Young and Hungry, I couldn't get seen for an hour long. So I told my team, I was like, I just did 5 seasons of a comedy. I was like, I want to kind of switch gears and let's do something like a little dramatic. And like people wouldn't even see me. Like I couldn't even get auditions. And then I was like, something is not working here. I wound up firing my agent. I got a new agent. And I was getting seen more and more and more. But it was like, I mean, there was a rut. It was over a year, like a year and then some where I did not book a job. And it was, I remember I switched, it's so weird how Hollywood works. Like I switch agencies and the first week I'm with my new agency, I get an straight offer, recurring role on Lethal Weapon. But it was a comedic kind of a role. So I did it, obviously. It was great. And, getting to work with Sean William Scott was awesome. But it was tough. And then after that, too, it was like slim pickings. And, and from a kid who I was used to booking 1, if not 2 pilots every year. And I'm, it's just like, that doesn't really happen. Like, I thought that was just the norm. It's like everybody books a pilot. And it's like, that's not. Like, I had a very good run. But I was, punching way above my weight class. Yeah. So, and now it's even more difficult because there's no pilot season anymore, and multicams, like I would die to be on a multicam again. The schedule's amazing. It's like theater. You have the energy, the crowd there. Multicams are being phased out in Hollywood. There's not a whole lot of studios making them anymore. Mm-hmm. They're going for the single cam half hours and, so yeah, man, like I said, I've been a working actor for 20 years and I am grinding harder now than I've ever had to in my career.
That's unbelievable. But that is so the reality of this industry. It's the most humbling profession you can be involved with, I think, in the world, because you can be at the highest of highs and truly not know where your next check's going to come the very next day. And you're the epitome of that, as so many of the actors that we have on the show and that I work with all the time, and obviously in my own career. Do you think? And
the thing is too, it's like the more you work, the higher you kind of climb, and then you get to a point where, or even look how like the Cottonmouth, there was an offer out to another actor for my role, And it's like, I'm at that role now where I'm competing with people who are straight offers, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm competing with people who are household names. So it's like, makes it even that much more harder, like to convince the studio or to convince the network that I'm the guy, when they can just offer to a guy who has millions of followers and everybody knows, and he's going to do a good job anyway.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And he brought up Cottonmouth, which is the movie that he and I just filmed in Tulsa, Oklahoma a few months back, which is Bartlesville, Oklahoma. That's correct. And really, really gritty Western, which was actually your first Western to do, right?
Yeah, man.
And so you got
Eric, I'm dying laughing that you're acting like you're this Western connoisseur when 1883 was your first Western.
It was, and since then I've done a few more.
He's done quite a bit.
No, I just giggle so hard is because I'm born and raised in Texas, and some would say I am very Western. And then I marry this man that all of a sudden talks in a Southern accent because he's been on one show.
Listen, it embraced me. I didn't embrace it.
No, it is all of a sudden. Talk about method actor. That's what I mean, I'm probably going to jinx it, but I pray we'll never get divorced because I'm married to whatever he is at that time. So like I married a prep from all my children. Then I dated like this grungy guy that was on a Dennis Leary pilot. Then I moved to Texas and married a cowboy. So I'm like, I truly am dating a new person every couple years.
Okay, but it is such a thing as an actor when you do your first Western. Like it's like a milestone. Like on my bucket list, it's like I need to do a military movie. I need to do a Western. I need to do a cop drama, a medical drama. You know, all these things that are so iconic in the industry. A Western is on the top of any actor I talk to's list. They say they want to do a Western if they haven't yet. So that's why I brought it up, because it is a cool thing.
It was great, man. I remember my first. Oh, this is a funny story. So my manager calls me. I booked the role, and I'm literally like, we're like closing my deal, and I just got my like flights and stuff to Oklahoma, and my manager calls me. He's like, "Hey, quick question. Something we didn't go over." He goes, "I'm talking to the producer." He's like, "Can you ride a horse?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course I can ride a horse." It's like, how hard can it be? You know? Well, let me tell you what. My first time on the horse, I almost got bucked in the first 5 seconds, dude. I didn't realize you're supposed to like nice and relax with the reins. So I jump on the horse and I'm pulling these things back, and it rears on like 2 legs and starts bouncing backwards. And I'm on the horse screaming, "Help! Help! Help!"
Yeah, see, we had like 3 weeks of practice on horseback before filming 1883. You were thrown in the exact day you had to film.
So then, I started working with the guy. I forget his name. He was wonderful. It wasn't Ed Asher. It was this other guy who was kind of teaching me the basics of riding a horse. And there was one moment where I'm riding this horse, and we're like going through the prairie in Oklahoma in like the most gorgeous landscape ever. And I'm on this majestic horse. And I was like, I get it. I was like, now I get it. Like, I was like, I can get used to this.
Yeah.
And it's true, man. It's like that lifestyle sneaks up on you, and it hooks you. Like I've been thinking about horseback riding since I left Oklahoma,
That's what happens. It is just the culture, everything about Western life is just, God.
Oh God, he's getting hot over here.
It's bringing me back.
Shit.
I do have a Western coming up that I get to shoot in.
Oh God, Eric, this isn't your interview.
No, but it's getting me really excited for it again.
Wait, I have a quick question though. Speaking of magical, and how did you become a magician? I have to know this.
So I was like 8, 9, 10, right in that area, like that age range. And there was a magic show. Like one of the churches had a magic show in their gymnasium. And I'd never seen a magic show. So my mom got us tickets, and we went to see this guy, the great Franchini.
Was he like making the Eucharist disappear, or?
No, this is like a big stage show, like huge illusions.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
Not like sawing the woman in half, but like, things are floating, and like it was big.
It was just
stuff,
held in a church.
It was held in a gymnasium of a
Okay,
church.
I imagine this whole religious experience while seeing.
Father,
Oh,
Holy
no.
Ghost.
No.
Okay.
So I won a door prize. Like everybody gets a ticket when you walk in, and they called my number, and I went up there, and it was a magic kit. And I was like always doing these little tricks around the house and stuff like that. And my mom, there were so many churches in my neighborhood. It was crazy. There's like 20. And my mom, there was a church directly across the street from my house. And my mom was in the choir, and she came home from the choir one night, and she said, "Jonathan, you'll never guess who the new organist is." And I said, "Who?" And she goes, "The great Franchini." And I was like, no way. This guy was like the biggest celebrity to me, at least at the time. It was like David Copperfield, great Franchini.
Oh my God.
And she said, "And he wants to meet you." And I actually have a giant poster of the great Franchini on my wall, framed. And yeah, I met him. He gave me a magic book, and he started teaching me magic and music. I learned how to play the pipe organ. I was playing in church and the piano and all this stuff. And to this day, we're best friends, man.
Oh, that's so cool.
And he was the guy, the great Franchini was the guy who said, "Do you want to be an artist behind a desk with a calculator, or do you want to be an artist on stage?"
You are kidding. Full circle. There. No,
Please tell me he is in your life. I mean,
We are best friends, dude.
I know he said that, but I'm just like,
I was about to say,
I
Eric-
just like, gosh, that's incredible. That's incredible.
Wait, that is so. No, I watched this interview of you and this sweet girl years ago, and you said one of the greatest gifts you were given was a radio, and that you would go around. I think you were like 9, and you would listen. You would wait for a certain Christmas song that you would try to like hold it around town so you could like listen to this Christmas. And I was like, you're such like a. Was your mind always going like that? Like it almost seemed like you were always in like a story or in a movie. It's like just I said I think you were like.
I'm going to tell you something crazy. This is wild. Kids know. Let me explain what that means. Just kids know. When I was in 4th grade, I had never seen a play. I mean, I saw like a school play. I had never been an actor, never like done any of that stuff. And my classroom voted me most likely to become a movie director.
Oh wow.
Like I had like never, this film and television and acting was not even a part of my life. And they voted me most likely to be a movie director. And the more I think about it though, I was like, oh my God. I was like, it was kind of always there. Like my brothers and I would play a game. It was called Make Me Laugh. Like we'd literally, one brother would get up there. The other 2 would sit. Me and my brothers there were 3 of us. Me and one of my brothers would sit down, and the other brother had to do a sketch and try to make one of us laugh. And if you laughed, then you were the next person to perform. We just kept on doing it.
That's a great like.
And I was like, I've always been doing this. Like I've always been performing, you know? And bit by bit, I think it was like, you know, just kind of, you know, that little chick was breaking through the shell, you know? Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think it was always there.
And it seems like your mom was such a pivotal person in your life for supporting you and honing in your dreams. And what you said earlier about her saying, you know, what's wrong with you, or what took so long? Like, of course, that's what you need to be doing.
She called me an idiot, and she called me an effing idiot. I don't know if have you FaceTimed with my mom yet?
I don't know if we have FaceTime. I'm sure on set at one point you had her up.
Boy, oh boy, is she something else. They broke the mold with her.
I love her.
You've seen the videos on my social media.
Oh yes.
Yeah, she's crazy. Oh, a funny story. So when I told her I was in theater, at the time she was working at like the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, which is like the Board of Trade in Chicago. And she was a market reporter. So my mom was a really fast typer. And so all those people like throwing the hand signals and all on the trading floor, and they're blah, 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 and they're screaming trades. My mom's the one like recording all the trades.
Oh my God. Well, no wonder you were into finance.
Well, I mean, neither one of my parents went to college. It was just like a secretarial position basically, where she's just, you know, she didn't know a whole lot about the stock market. She just knew what the hand signals meant, and she had to record all these trades. So, but it was, you know, it was called the pit where she worked, like her pit. And it was like a rough and tough place. And my mom is pretty rough and tough. Like, my mom's got some grit.
That's great.
I need to compliment you a second, though. Jonathan, one thing I was so excited when you accepted to do this interview, you're spectacular. Like, you're just magic. Like, I remember just being like, I am so glad we're interviewing him, because I watched 1,000 interviews of you, like, truly since the past 20 years. And you've always been the same. Like, you've never changed. You're so kind. Like, we were watching a very painful interview. God love the sweet interviewer. And you just like took it over and made her feel so good. And I was like, you would have thought you were interviewing her. Like, you're just so magical. And I really think, like, I hope everybody gets to know you. And I'm so glad we got to at least have this interview with you, because you are so special and so rare. And it doesn't surprise me that you do all these things, because you are magic. Like, you are spectacular. Like, and I just needed to tell you that, because it is so.
Stop it. You're gonna make me fucking cry on here.
No,
dude.
but it is so wild. Like, especially for me, is I wasn't raised. I'm like you. I wasn't raised in the entertainment industry. And so when you meet these people, I watched you every day while I was in college. And then, like, to meet you, it's so, like, I always tell Eric, I was like, I don't mean to fangirl, but it's so nice when it's like, they always say never meet your heroes. Well, you're like, I got to meet one of my heroes, and it was just as amazing, and if not better than what I expected it to be. So it's
Saint Ethan.
no, but it's so cool. You don't realize, like, as I was in Ohio, like, I was, in a small town watching you every day on TV. And then when you're on set with them, you just pray to God that they're exactly what you want them to be. And you are. And then you can do, like, you do that, and then you play this insanely intense character, and then I'm watching you a few years later on Sex Life, and it's just like, it's so wild what you can do. Then I'm so glad Hollywood found you and didn't destroy you, and didn't turn you into this person that.
Real close a few times. Really toed the line there a few times.
I mean, I think it can do it to everybody, but I really went.
We'll save those stories for episode 2.
I know, right?
Yes,
Well,
exactly.
explicit version. We always like to end our episodes too. And one thing in your life, and it could be like something great this week, it could be in the career that is glamorous, and one thing that is grit. Like, if you know when you go around the round table as a kid and you say your pit and your perk of the week, what is your glamour and your grit?
What is my glamour and my grit? To me, my glamour is the red carpet and doing what I do, and being fortunate enough to do what I do, and meeting people who have been fans of mine, and hopefully not letting them down. But that's my glamour, man. That is my, I remember for the Die Hard premiere, we were in New York, and I took my mom and dad. My dad passed a few years back, but he was around, and it was their first movie premiere ever, and it was for Die Hard.
Wow.
And I took that, and it was at Radio City Music Hall. And I was able to take my dad on the red carpet, and to see, like, we stepped out of the limo onto the red carpet with thousands of people just screaming. And that's my glamour, man. That was cool.
That makes me
I'm glad-
cry.
I know, what a memory.
Oh, you know what? Actually, I take that back. That was her second premiere, because they did go to the She's the Man premiere.
Oh,
But to be able to, yeah, that's my glamour. And my grit is my mother. Man, that's my grit. Like, not even a second, not even a number 2. My mom.
I think my 4-year-old would say that about me right now too.
Yeah. And before we end, I got to say one thing. And I've told him this before. But Eric, I have to thank you for giving me and letting me be a part of the most magical moment I've ever had on set. And to our listeners and viewers at home, that's my dog, by the way. You can see his ears. That's cool. To the people listening, there was a pretty long and pretty intense scene that I was fortunate enough to sit across Eric in. And it was the scene I auditioned with for Cottonmouth, the film we just shot. And when I say it was the most memorable moment of my career, I mean that wholeheartedly. The scene stopped. You could have heard a pin drop. And Eric and I kind of looked at each other, and we kind of let out a breath and kind of, nodded at each other. and the entire cast and crew stood up in applause. Martin comes running in from Video Village, kicks the door open and starts hugging us. And it was just like this uproarious applause. And dude, it was like, I've said this before. I go, you're the person I know that's going to win an Oscar one day. And I just want to say, like, I will remember and I will cherish that moment for the rest of my life, dude. So thank you for that.
Oh my God.
Y'all, I'm
You
gonna
just
cry.
crushed me with that, man. Thank you so much. And you know, I was gonna bring that up, and it didn't naturally come into the conversation. But for me as well, that was probably the most special moment I've ever had on a set. And to feel that with you, and for us to be so connected in that scene the way we were, and then for it to break the way it did, and then for the whole, for a second, it felt like the entire state of Oklahoma was cheering us on and rooting for us in that moment. And it really was so special. So, I mean, truly thank you for saying that. And it was, I felt the exact same way about you. And I pray we get to work together again soon, because that was magic that we got to, we keep using the word magic, and I think it's because you're here.
I know.
But it really was. It really was. And I can't.
I kind of got a gut feeling that was the first of many adventures for us, my
I
friend.
think so too.
I think so too, man. I
Wait,
think
and
so
can
too.
you tell
Thank
our
you.
audience where they can find you on socials?
You can find me. I am on Instagram, and it is at Jonathan Sadowski.
Oh my God, Jonathan, we love you so much. You are,
Love you guys.
Matt, I feel like kind of I was in a therapy session. That felt so good to be with you.
That was good. That was good. That really set my day on a
No,
trajectory.
I
Awesome.
like, that is magic. Well, we love you so much, and we'll talk to you so soon.
Yeah. Thank
you
you,
guys.
We
brother.
Thank
love
you
you,
for having
Jonathan.
Thanks,
Bye, guys.
man.
Oh, my heart.
Wow. I mean, what a
I
special.
feel like I need to take all my makeup off now. Like, I really, I don't think people really understand. I didn't get it. It's like you talk about band camp and theater camp, and being on a set, it is camp. Like, you really do become family with these people.
But so many times you do, and then you're like, oh, we're going to hang out. We're going to keep in touch. We're going to be friends. And it kind of falls apart. Like, it just, life gets in the way. You have your different lives going on. And so it rarely do we actually keep those friends that close, and especially the family bonding you make on set. But he's one of those actors and friends, and I consider family at this point, that I know will be in our lives forever. And I'm just so grateful for that. And I'm so excited to see what he has coming up next. And it's going to be amazing. I know now all the listeners that didn't know him before are now going to follow his career just because of the type of person he is. So what a great episode.
Oh, wow, guys. Well, we'll see you on Friday.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you being here.
Bye, everyone.
Glamour.
Grit. Glamour.
Grit.
Glamour.
Grit. Glamour.
Grit.